Hello friends, welcome to Grade Up. So, Sachitra Patra, Subham, Yashwant, Gajendra, hello everyone. So, this is the second session today and overall it is third session of the circuits. So, in this session we will discuss about the basics of the inductor, capacitor and the resistance. Yes, good afternoon to all, good afternoon. I am starting the session. Okay, so I am starting. It is about me, myself, Vijay Bansal. Arun is saying, sir, I have a doubt in nodal analysis quiz question. Okay, Arun, in that case, you can post the question in the doubt section. If you have the doubt in the quiz question, you can post the doubt in the doubt section. Because quiz question uh, is given by the SMEs. So I don't know which question you are talking about. Okay. Good afternoon. I am starting. So in this session, we will discuss about the resistance. What is the yes? Arun is saying source transformation. Okay. I will explain the source transformation, and I will give you the limitation of the source transformation. In which cases source transformation are not applicable, I am giving you. Okay, P. Sarath is saying, sir, going speed in the discussing. Okay. I will little bit slow down. So, in the case of resistance, uh, what is the power? Calculation of power, calculation of energy dissipated. In case of non-periodic, if signal is aperiodic, how we can calculate the energy dissipated? How we can calculate the power consumed? And in case of inductor, energy dissipated or power dissipated. In case of inductor, we will discuss the equation of KVL, equation of KCL, energy stored at a particular time or in steady state. Power dissipated means power consumed, because this power is dissipated as a heat in case of resistance. So simply we say it is the power dissipated, because in a particular resistance power may be dissipated as a heat, or in the bulb, in the electric bulb, this power fraction of the power is converted into the light form. Light, electrical power is converted into the light energy. So you cannot say it is the going the wasted. Sometimes students think that power is wasting in the resistance, but you cannot say it is a wasted, because in the heater or in the iron, electrical power in the form of heat is utilized by us. In the electric geyser, or in the electric iron, we use the electric heat as a, so we cannot say as a wastage. Sometimes student thinks power is wastage in the resistance, so it is not always true, but yes, more or less times, most of the time power is dissipated as a heat in the resistance. So in the inductor, what is the KVL equation, what is the KCL equation, and what is the energy stored in the inductor? In case of capacitor, in case of capacitor, again, what is the KVL equation, what is the KCL equation, and how much energy is stored? how much energy is stored in the capacitor. And we will discuss the current and voltage division rule in the capacitor. Voltage division rule in the capacitor. And here in the inductor also, what is the voltage division rule? Voltage division and current division. Yes, capacitor store the energy in the form of electrostatic field. Inductor store the energy in the form of electromagnetic energy. Yes, yes. Arun, I will explain the inductor energy and capacitor energy. Okay, okay. So first one is the resistance. First, we will discuss about the resistance. About the resistance. So it is the resistance. Suppose that current is a function of time. Current is a function of time. So voltage drop across resistance is also function of time. And you know Vt, Ohm's law, Vt is equal to R times It. So what is the voltage drop? Voltage drop across the resistance Vt is equal to R times It. That much of volt. So in bracket T means voltage and current are the function of time. They are not the constant value. They may be function of time. They may be function of time. So voltage across the resistance is R into It. Sanket is asking capacitor is active device or passive device. It is a passive device. It is not active device. Okay, I will give you the from the power calculation. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, it cannot deliver the energy for the infinite time. Okay, okay. Yes, yes. So V into I is equal to R into It. That is the voltage. So what is the power? Power PT is equal to power as a function of time is voltage multiplied by current. That is the power. If you put the voltage Vt as R into It, you get R into It multiplied by It. So it is the It square multiplied by R. That is the power dissipated, power in the watt. But if we calculate the power, if it is a function of if It is a periodic waveform, if current is the periodic waveform, if It is the periodic waveform, It is periodic waveform, if current is periodic waveform, if It is the periodic waveform, then average power is equal to P is equal to 1 upon T 0 to T Pt dt. This is the average power. This is the average power 1 upon T 0 to T integral Pt dt, and 1 upon T 0 to T Pt can be written as I square T into R. I square T into R dt. Yes, yes. Average power in the case of current is the function of time, or it is magnitude is changing with respect to time. Then you can say average power is same as the DC power, because DC average power is same as the. If you calculate the DC power, it will remain same because magnitude of the current is the same at all time. So if you take the R common, what is the average power? Average power is equal to R multiplied by 1 by T 0 to T It square dt. It square dt. So we know IRMS square is this. What is the IRMS value? IRMS, root mean square value, you know very well. It is 1 by T, 0 to T, IT square dt. It is the definition of the root mean square value of the current. If current is a periodic value, IRMS is equal to under root 1 by T integral 0 to T IT square dt. So it is the RMS value. And if I put here, I get the power. Average power is equal to in the resistance is IRMS square multiplied by R. So in the calculation of power, across the resistance, always take the current as a RMS value. So P is equal to I square. Generally, student casually return P is equal to I square R. P is equal to I square R. So this current I must be the RMS value. This I must be the RMS value. Aarti Sawant is asking, sir, why it is 1 by T? Why you are taking 1 by T? Because average is equal to area under the curve divided by the width of the curve. If you take the average value, suppose that this is the current function. Suppose that this is the current function. This is the current value. Suppose that it is the current value in the resistance IT. So if it is the current value across the resistance, it is 0, it is T by 2, it is T. So if you take the average RMS value, so what you take? First you take the square value of the current. First you take the square value. Then take the mean value, average. Then take the average. Average means area under the curve divided by width of the curve. Average value means area under the curve divided by the width of the curve. That is why we are dividing by the T. Because we are integrating up to the T, so we are dividing by the T. Because average is equal to area under the curve divided by the width of the curve. And take the under root of the average. That is the RMS value. RMS stands for root mean square. Root mean square. First you take the square value, then you take the mean, and then you take the root. So that is the root mean square value. So power dissipation across the resistance. Power dissipation across the resistance is always depend on the RMS value. But in the DC case, if the current is DC, yes, Yaswant is saying, sir, having had the average concept, why do go for the RMS concept? Okay, very good question. Very good question. Because Yaswant, power across the resistance does not depend on the current. Power dissipation across the resistance depend on the I square, current square. Power dissipation depend on the current square. And if you go with the average value, you know, sinusoidal value have the average value 0. So if we go with this average value, sinusoidal voltage having the average 0 value. It does not have any AC. It is the average DC concept is 0. The DC component across the AC value is the 0. So average value of the current or voltage is 0 for the AC. So if we go with the average value, there is no power dissipation in the resistance if we give the AC value. But in actual, you know, either we give the DC or AC to the resistance, we always have the power dissipation. So power dissipation does not depend on the average value. It always depends on the RMS value. Yes. Power is always squarely proportional to the current. That is why we take the RMS value. Okay. So, but in the case of DC, if you take the DC, its RMS and average current is same. If you take the average value, suppose that this current is the 10 ampere. Suppose that this current is the 10 ampere. It is a DC current. Magnitude is constant with respect to time. So if DC current having the 10 ampere current for a time period, so if you take the average value is 10 because area under the curve divided by width of the curve. If you take any length, if you take up to any length, if you take, suppose that you take up to the 5 second or 5 millisecond. So what is the area? Area is the 10 into 5. If you divide by 5, you get the 10. So for DC value, average value as well as RMS value is the same. Suppose that you calculate the RMS value of the AC quantity 10 square. First you square the current, 10 square is the 100. 10 square is the 100. Then you take the average. What is the average? Average is area under the curve, 100 into 5 divided by 5. So what is the area average of the square wave? Average of the square wave is 100 into 5 upon 5. That is the 100. And then take the under root. Take the under root of the average. So it is the coming 10 ampere. So for the DC quantity, average and RMS is the same. Sanket is saying average value used for the DC power. No. Because in the DC case, average and RMS is same. That is why we can say either average or RMS. But in the case of resistance, always take the RMS value. In the DC case, for the DC current, average and RMS is always same. Average is equal to RMS quantity. Average value is equal to the RMS value. That is why we can say for the DC, either we take the RMS value or we take the average value, both are same. Otherwise, we always take the RMS value of the current. We take the average value of the current in case of battery charging. If battery is charging, we always take the average current. In that case, we take the average current, not the RMS current. In case of the DC load, if the load is DC like the battery, we always take the average current. But in case of the resistance, we always take the AC current or RMS current. RMS, always RMS. Okay, now come to the basics of the inductor. You know for the resistance, what is the power dissipation and what is the voltage equation, what is the current value. You know very well. What is the series parallel combination? What is the current voltage division? Current division rule, voltage division rule, you know very well. So in case of resistance, you know how to calculate power, how to calculate voltage, how to calculate current, what is the series parallel combination of the resistance, what is the current division rule for resistance, what is the voltage division rule for the resistance. And I hope you know the also delta star transformation. Delta star or star delta. If you don't know, I will tell you how delta star transformation is done. So in the case of basic of resistance, you must know how to calculate power, how to calculate voltage, how to calculate current, what is the series parallel combination of the resistance, current division rule, voltage division rule, and the star delta transformation. Okay, it is for the resistance. Now come to the basics of the inductor. In case of the inductor, basics of the inductor. Yes. Basics of the inductor. Yes. First is the KVL equation. If inductor value is L, current flowing in the inductor is IT. So voltage drop across inductor, VT is equal to L dit by dt. This is the voltage. V is equal to L dit by dt. It is the Faraday law. Okay, Srivans Nigam is saying sometime it is difficult to understand the connection between series and parallel. Kindly explain. Okay. Okay, star delta. When we take the Thevenin theorem or equivalent resistance calculation, then we take the star delta and series parallel. Okay. So what is the voltage across? Voltage across inductor is L di by dt. And go with the basic definition. L is equal to flux linkage divided by current. Very good. L is equal to flux linkage lambda upon I. Lambda is equal to n phi. So you can say inductor is equal to n phi upon I. Both are same. Either you can say it is the lambda or ni. N phi. It is the flux linkage divided by the current of the coil is gives the inductance. But and L. If you calculate the L, you can calculate the L very easily. So what is the L value? If I go with the L value, yes, very good. If I go with the L value, L is equal to N phi upon I. But phi, what is the flux? Flux is equal to MMF upon reluctance. Flux is equal to MMF upon reluctance. MMF is equal to Ni divided by S. So if you put here, what is the inductance value? Inductance value is N upon I multiplied by phi. Phi is equal to Ni upon S. I cancelled out. So inductor value is the N square upon S, where N is the turn of the coil and S is the reluctance of the core. S is the reluctance of the core. Yes, Jain is asking what is the flux linkage. Okay. This is the flux linkage. Every coil is behaving like a magnet when there is a current flowing in this. Every magnet is behaving like a magnet. Every coil is behaving like a magnet if there is a current flowing in this. This is the north pole and south pole. I have already told you somewhere that if there is a coil and if we flow current, if we give the current to this coil, this is become the electromagnet. This coil becomes the electromagnet, and one pole according to the right hand current rule, it is the north pole, it is the south pole. So there is a flux, magnetic flux leaving from the north pole outside and entering at the south pole. So this flux is linking the coil. This flux is linking the coil. We are talking about this flux which is linking this coil. So the flux linkage by this coil is the N phi. N is the turn. So flux linkage is equal to N phi. Yes. MMF is analogous to the EMF in electrical circuit. Yes. It is having the capability of generating the flux. Very good. So it is the inductor is the L value is the flux linkage divided by current. And if I put phi is equal to Ni by S, I get the L is equal to N square by S. So inductance of the coil is depending upon the N square. N square. More is the turn of the coil, more is the inductance of the coil. And L is inversely proportional to the reluctance of the core. That is why we take the iron core as a reluctance. N is the number of turn. Yes, MMF is the magnetomotive force. Okay. So we are coming to the KVL and KCL equation. We are coming to the KVL and KCL equation because in the network or electrical circuit, most of the question encountered from the KVL and KCL. So S is the reluctance. Yes, Dev is asking, sir, but we apply the AC, then will be the altered the flux. Yes. Flux will be altering its polarity. Flux is altering its polarity in case of AC current is flowing. Yes. But flux is linkage. Flux is linkage in case of the AC quantity. Yes. So Vt is equal to reluctance is the analogous of the resistance. In the electrical circuit, current is opposed by the resistance, and resistance is the property of the material. And reluctance is the opposing the flux in the magnetic circuit. And again, reluctance depends upon the material property. Reluctance of the core depends on the physical dimension as well as the property of the material. So Vt is equal to L di by dt. It is the KVL equation. Voltage across inductor. Voltage across inductor is Vt is equal to L di by dt. L di by dt. It is the KVL equation. It is the voltage equation across the inductor. V is equal to L di by dt. Yes. And what is the KCL equation? What is the KCL equation? For inductor, KCL equation is IT is equal to 1 by L. Care about the integration limit. It is the minus infinity to t v tau d tau or v tau dt. Casually we write Vt dt. Otherwise, limit is minus infinity to t vt dt. Casually, we can write like, but more appropriate is v tau d tau. Tau is a dummy variable, and or you can say it is equal to 1 by L integral minus infinity to t vt dt. Casually we write as vt dt. Otherwise more appropriate is v tau d tau. Tau is the dummy variable, and if we put the limit, it is a function of time. Current is also a function of time. Yes, by integrating both sides. If I integrate this equation both sides, I get this equation. If I integrate this equation both sides, I get this value. 1 by L minus infinity to t v tau d tau. From minus infinity means there is a initial condition. If there is a initial current across the inductor, that is the minus infinity. Or otherwise, they will saying, sir, but sir, voltage is 0 in the AC. So how can steady? In which condition we steady? Uh, no. In case of AC, voltage is alternatingly changed. In the case of AC, voltage is alternatingly changed. This formula is valid for AC as well as for DC. Both the formulas, these formulas are valid for the AC and DC. But if current is the function, not function of time, become constant, voltage drop across inductor becomes 0, because there is no flux change across the inductor. So there is no voltage drop across the inductor. So this is the KVL equation, and it is the KCL equation. Or you can write this equation like this: IT is equal to 1 by L minus infinity to 0 minus v tau d tau plus 1 upon L integral 0 to infinity or 0 to t 0 to t v tau d tau v tau d tau. So what is the value? This is the initial condition. If we integrate the voltage with respect to time and integrate, it is the initial flux. So it is the 1 by L and phi 0 minus plus 1 upon L integral 0 to t v tau d tau. Flux divided by integral is the current. So you can say it is the I0 minus plus 1 by L integral 0 to t v tau d tau. You can write like this. It is the IT. It is the IT. Inductor current is equal to I0 minus plus 1 by L 0 to t integral vt dt. You can write like this. The equation of KCL is this. Equation is this. KCL equation. It is the KCL equation. So KCL equation can be written in two ways. Either with the initial condition or with the boundary condition. Minus infinity to, it is also the KCL equation. It is also the KCL equation, as well as if you take the limit from 0 to infinity, 0 to t, you must include the initial condition. Infinity indicates how you treated inductor in the past, since the inductor is a dynamic element. Oh, yes, very good. So I0 minus is the initial current before applying the voltage. Before applying the voltage to the inductor, what is the initial current? It is called the initial current before applying the voltage, because we are applying the voltage at t is equal to 0. So I0 minus gives the initial current in the inductor before giving the voltage to the inductor, because it may be possible that before applying the voltage to the inductor, there may be initial current in the inductor. So it is the initial current in inductor before applying the voltage. In inductor before applying the voltage. Before applying the voltage. Yes. Before applying the voltage, it is the initial current through the inductor. Arun is saying, without applying voltage, how it is the current produced? Maybe before applying the one voltage source, it may be connected to the another voltage source. Before applying to the other voltage source, it may be connected to the previous voltage source, because inductor is getting the energy from any other source. Yes, inductor can store the energy, so inductor may be taken the current from the other source. Okay, okay. So what is the power? If you calculate what is the power, yes, yes, yes. I0 minus is equal to I0 plus if there is no impulse at the time of switching. Yaswant, I will discuss I0 minus and I0 plus concept in the transient. When I will discuss the transient, I will discuss the 0 minus and 0 plus. 0 minus and 0 plus. Yes, yes. Very good, very good. Lasya is asking, sir, integral of the voltage is the flux. How? Like this. V is equal to N d phi by dt. Vt is equal to N d phi by dt. So integral of the flux is giving the voltage. Integral of voltage giving the flux. Integral of voltage is giving the flux. V is equal to N d phi by dt. It is the Faraday law. If we integrate both sides, integration of the voltage becomes the flux. Yes, yes. Mahesh is asking, if it is inductor is not connected with the previous source, it means initial current is 0. Yes, yes. Very good, very good. Yes, yes. Okay, okay. So now what is the energy stored in the inductor? How much energy stored in the inductor? It is the L, it is IT, it is VT. So what is the power? Power is equal to PT is equal to VT multiplied by IT. V is equal to LDI by dt. L dit by dt into IT. It is the power. So what is the energy? Energy is the integration of the power. PT dt. Energy is the integration of the power from 0 to infinity, or you can say 0 to t. It is the energy. Energy is the PT dt. So if you put the PT value, you get the L integration L di by dt into IT into dt. dt cancelled out. So how much energy is stored? Energy stored is integral limit L IT into dit from initial current to final current. I0 to I infinity, or I1 to I2. I1 to I2. Initial energy to the final energy. And if we are giving the current from 0 to I dash, or you can say I. So what is the energy? Energy is L IT into dit. If you integrate the IT value, it is the IT square by 2 with respect to dit. With respect to dit, IT integration is IT square by 2, and limit is I1 to I2, or I initial to I final. So how much energy is stored? Half L I2 square minus I1 square. That is the energy stored in the inductor. This is the energy stored in the inductor. It is the previous slide. It is the previous slide. Yes, half Li square. If the initial energy is 0, initial current is 0, and final current is the IT, energy stored in the inductor is half Li square. Half Li square. So energy stored is the half L I2 square minus I1 square. But if I2 is equal to capital I2 is equal to capital I, and I1 is equal to 0, I get the energy stored in the inductor is half Li square. Half Li square. If Subham Dubey is asking, sir, very confusing, please mention for AC or DC. It is valid for AC as well as DC, because I am saying current is a function of time. So it is, this concept is the basic concept, universal. It is applicable for AC as well as DC. You can apply this concept for the AC as well as the DC, because in the case of DC, current is the constant, so energy becomes the half Li square, and if in case of the AC, I is the function of time. I is the function of time. So these concepts are the general concept you can apply for the AC as well as for the DC. These concepts are the general concept. Yes. Okay, Subham, okay. So in the capacitor, or I will take the numerical. From the numerical, I will solve many doubts with the help of numerical. So it is the capacitor, it is C. Current in the capacitor is IT. Voltage across capacitor is the VT. We know Q is equal to CV. If there is a voltage across the capacitor, the charge stored in the capacitor is Q is equal to CV. Q is equal to CV. If I differentiate this equation, dq by dt is equal to C dv by dt. dq by dt, differentiation of charge is current. It is equal to C dvt by dt. It is equal to C dv by dt. So this is the KCL equation. This is the equation of KCL for capacitor. It is the KCL equation for capacitor. I is equal to C dv by dt. If I integrate this equation, integrating both sides equation, if I integrate both sides of this equation, I get Vt is equal to 1 by C integral minus infinity to T I tau d tau. It is the KVL equation. Yes. And if you break the limit, you get the limit Vt is equal to 1 by C minus infinity to 0 minus I tau d tau plus 1 by C 0 to T I tau d tau. And integration of current is the charge. Integration of the charge. Yes, you can take the screenshot. Om Tripathi is saying the screenshot. You can take the screenshot. Shiv Shankar is asking, sir, can you give the PDF for this topic? PDF is available for every topic, but not this kind of notes. SMEs prepare the notes in the PDF form, and they are giving the PDF notes of the every topic. And if you take these notes written by me, you can take the screenshot and make the notes. It is your choice. Nandis is asking, is derivation important? No, derivation is not important in the GATE, but application of the derivation is coming in the examination. If you familiar with the derivation, sometime tricky question is easy to solve. but derivation is not important in the gate. May come in the yes. Jain is asking, can you explain the star delta for inductor? Same as the resistance. Jain star delta is the same as the inductor. For star delta transformation for inductor is same as for the resistance. In the capacitor it is different, but for the inductor it is the same. Okay, okay. Sandeep is saying after completion of the topic, please give time to the take the screenshot. Okay, okay, okay. So we will take the screenshot after completing the topic. Okay, okay. So KCL equation is, if we route the KVL equation, it is the KVL equation. Okay, okay. I will explain the star delta. Yaswant is saying that transformer be thought of as an inductor with magnetic core. Yes, yes, yes. Both the transformer coil is like an inductor. Yes, yes. Okay, I can derive the star delta conversion, but it will be available in the PDF form. Soumya is giving very good suggestion. After completion of the class, if I share the PPT uh, through the mail, we can share, but I think it is not the policy of the grade up. First, I will talk to the grade up management. If it is okay for the grade up management, I can share the PPT. But for this, I have to talk to the grade up management. Okay, okay. So what is the KVL equation? KVL equation for the capacitor is Vt is equal to Q0 minus upon C plus 1 by C 0 to T I tau d tau, or V0 Q upon C is the V0. So KVL equation is Vt is equal to V0 minus plus 1 by C 0 to T I tau d tau. Through the numerical, it is very easy to understand. Just I am giving you the hint through in the derivation. Otherwise, it is very easy to in the numerical. In the numerical, it is very easy. It is the KVL equation. What is the energy stored? If you calculate the energy stored for the capacitor, power is equal to Vt multiplied by IT. IT is C dV by dt, and energy is the integration of the power. So if I put PT is equal to C Vt into dVt by dt into dt. So I get C Vt into dVt from initial voltage to final voltage. So how much energy I stored? Energy stored in the capacitor. Energy stored in the capacitor is C into Vt square by 2 from V1 to V2. So I get the energy stored is half C V2 square minus V1 square. V1 is the initial voltage, V2 is the final voltage. V2 is the final voltage and V1 is the initial voltage. V1 is the initial voltage. And if V1 is equal to 0 and V2 is equal to V, so energy stored in the capacitor is half CV square. Half CV square. Very good, very good. Ambuj is asking, sir, how do you take limits from infinity to t? Because in the calculation, I am taking the limit from infinity to t because voltage across capacitor. Voltage is across capacitor, current is responsible. For making the voltage across the capacitor, current is responsible. And if current is flowing in the capacitor from minus infinity to t, that means if there is a voltage stored across the capacitor before applying the current, then this voltage will be added to the new voltage. That is why I am taking the limit from minus infinity to 0. Now I am taking some question. Give me the answer of this question. Give me the answer of this question. Now I will give you the concept through the question. Ambuj is asking, sir, this waveform is AC or DC? It is time. It is the changing with respect to time as a ramp from 0 to 2 seconds, and after 2 seconds, it becomes the constant. It becomes the constant current. So it is the previous slide. Dave is giving the answer. Yaswant is giving the answer. All are giving the B. Dave is giving A. Dave, you should check the answer. Okay, I am solving. I am solving this question. I am solving this question. At t is equal to 5, we have to calculate energy stored at t is equal to 1 second and t is equal to 5 seconds. And at t is equal to 0, there is 0 current. At t is equal to 0, I is equal to 0. Current is 0. So energy is 0. At t is equal to 0, energy stored in the inductor is 0 because current is starting from 0. Current is starting from 0. But at t is equal to 5 seconds, current is the 4 ampere. And if current is 4 ampere, that means E is equal to half Li square. Half Li square. So half into L. L value is the 0.5 Henry into I square. I value is the 4 ampere. So it is half into 0.5 into 4 4 ja 16. So 16 into 0.5 is 8. 8 divided by 2 is the 4 joule. So final value at t is equal to 4 seconds, final value is the 4 joule. So either B is correct or C is correct. Because the final value of the inductor at t is equal to 5 seconds, energy stored in the inductor is the 4 joule. If I calculate the energy stored at t is equal to 1 second, so I calculate the current at t is equal to 1 second. If I calculate the current at t is equal to 1 second, I can calculate with the help of the similar triangle. With the help of the similar triangle, I can calculate the current, or I can calculate the current with the help of the line equation y is equal to mx. So if I take the similar triangle property say perpendicular upon base of the big triangle, perpendicular upon base of the big triangle is equal to perpendicular upon base of the small triangle. Using the slope property, perpendicular upon base of the bigger triangle is equal to the small triangle. Perpendicular upon base is the small triangle. So if you say it is the x, you can calculate x upon 1. So what is the value of x? You can calculate what is the value of x. X is coming 2 ampere. X is coming 2 ampere. And if x is coming 2 ampere at t is equal to 1 second, what is the energy stored? Energy stored at the t is equal to 1 second is half Li square. So 2 square is 4, 4 into 0.5 is 2, 2 upon 2 is the 1 joule. So initial energy is the 1 joule. So it is the B correct answer. B is the correct answer. Final energy stored in the inductor is 4 joule and T is equal to 1. Energy stored is the 1 joule. And T is equal to 0. Energy stored is the 0 joule. So energy stored at T is equal to 0, 0 joule. Energy stored at T is equal to 1 second is 1 joule. Energy stored beyond T is equal to 2. It is the 4 joule. These are the answer of this question. So energy stored in the inductor is the, if you calculate the current at T is equal to 1 second, half Li square is the formula. Because initial current energy is 0. Some students say, sir, you have taken energy is equal to final energy minus initial energy. So initial energy is 0. So what is the final energy is the total energy stored. Because initially inductor does not have any energy. Now I am giving you the second question. Give the answer. What is the V1 and V2? Apply the voltage division rule in the capacitor and give the V1 and V2 value. This is the second question. Give the answer of V1 and V2. Jain is saying we have to use star delta. No. Without delta star it is possible. Without delta star it is possible. Nitesh is asking one question, sir, when we should apply the formula half Li2 square minus I1 square. If I ask the question, how much energy stored from T is equal to 1 to T is equal to 4? How much energy stored from T is equal to 1 second to T is equal to 5 seconds? If I ask the question like this, from T is equal to 1 second to T is equal to 5 seconds, how much energy is stored? Then we apply the formula half L I2 square minus I1 square. So it is the answer half into 0.5. I2 square is the 4 square. I1 square is the 2 square. So half into 0.5. 4 square is 16. 2 square is the 4. It is 12. 12 into 0.5 is 6. 6 upon 2 is the 3 joule. So between T is equal to 1 second to T is equal to 5 seconds, this inductor will store the 3 joule energy. Okay. Ronia Desam is asking what is the voltage division rule. Okay, I am giving you what is the voltage division rule in the capacitor. For the capacitor, most of the students are giving B. Okay, I am solving. For the capacitor, Q is equal to CV. For the capacitor, Q is equal to CV. In series circuit, Q is equal to same. So if Q is equal to same, voltage is inversely proportional to C. So voltage division rule, V1 is to V2. V1 is to V2 is 1 by C1 is to 1 by C2. If both are series, if two capacitors are in series, voltage division rule is reciprocal to the capacitor. Or you can say in the AC, Z is equal to R for resistance and Z is equal to XC is equal to 1 by omega C, and Z is equal to XL for inductor for omega L. So resistance and inductor, the voltage division and current division is the same, but in the capacitor C is the reciprocal. So Z is equal to R, L and 1 by C. So R is replaced by 1 by C. In the resistance voltage division rule, if you replace the R with 1 by C, you get the voltage division rule for capacitor. You can remember like this. If you apply the voltage on star delta, this rule is valid. If R is replaced by L, all the rules of the resistance are valid for inductor. If R is replaced by 1 by C, all the rules of the resistance are valid for the capacitor. Suppose that two resistance are in series. Two resistance are in series and the voltage is divided in R1 and R2. So this R1 voltage resistance, this R2 resistance. This voltage is V1, this voltage is V2. So what is the V? V1? V1 is equal to V into R1 upon R1 plus R2. Suppose that you know the formula of voltage division rule in the resistance. The same rule you can apply for the capacitor. The same rule of the voltage division rule you can apply in case of the capacitor. Suppose that this is the voltage V, this is the capacitor C1, this is the capacitor C2. This voltage is V1, this voltage is V2. So what is the V1? V1 is equal to V into R1. R is replaced by 1 by C. So it is the 1 by C1 divided by R1 plus R2. So it is the 1 by C1 plus 1 by C2. It is so simple. So you can apply the voltage division rule in the inductor or in the resistance. Simply replace R with L and R with 1 by C. Similarly, in the delta star, if you apply the delta star transformation, these three resistance R1, R2, R3. Suppose that it is the delta. Suppose that it is the delta network and you transform into the star one. Suppose that you transform as a star. So this resistance is RA, this resistance is RB, this resistance is RC. So what is the value of RA? RA is equal to adjacent branch. RA resistance is product of adjacent branch R1, R2 divided by sum of the delta branch. So R1 plus R2 plus R3. The same concept can be applied to the capacitor. Same concept can be applied to the capacitor. What is the star delta transformation for capacitor? If you apply the same rule for the capacitor, it is the C1, it is C2, it is C3. It is A, it is B, it is C. If you convert into the star, transformation, it is CA, it is CB, it is CC. A terminal, B terminal, C terminal. So what is the CA value? CA value is adjacent branch capacitor reciprocal because R is replaced by 1 by C. So it is 1 by C1 multiplied by 1 by C2 upon 1 by C1 plus 1 by C2 plus 1 by C2. So if you know the star delta transformation for resistance, you can apply the star delta transformation for capacitor. Just you have to replace R with 1 by C, or R is replaced by inductor. The same application is for inductor. If this R is become L1 and this R2 become L2, so this formula is L1 upon L1 plus L2. I think you are getting my point. This is the point. Resistance is replaced by inductor in case of inductor, and resistance is replaced by 1 by C in case of capacitor. All the rules are applicable. Just you know this one. Now I am taking the question. I am taking this question now. So these two resistor capacitor are in parallel, and this formula is again valid. In the parallel, 1 upon R equivalent. 1 upon R equivalent is 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2. You know very well in the resistance parallel. So 1 by R is replaced by C equivalent. So C equivalent is C1 plus C2. So in the parallel equivalent capacitor, in the parallel resistance, 1 by R is equal to 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2, or C equivalent is equal to C1 plus C2. Yes, Kalyani is asking about the dot transformation. Yes, dot case I will take in the magnetic coupling. I am not taking the dot convention here. I will take the dot convention in the magnetic coupling topic. Kalyani, I will take the dot convention in the magnetic coupling. So I am solving this question. 2 and 1 microfarad in the parallel. These two capacitors are in parallel. How? Because one of the terminal is connected here and one of the terminal is connected here. Star delta for L is the same as for R. Yes, very good. Star delta for L is same for resistance, because L is replaced by simply R. So these two capacitors are in parallel because the voltage across this terminal is same and voltage across this plate is same. So these two capacitors are in parallel. So what is the parallel equivalent? Parallel equivalent of this capacitor is 2 plus 1 is the 3 microfarad. This capacitor is the 3 microfarad, and 3 microfarad and 1.5 microfarad in series. If I make the circuit equivalent circuit, it would be like this. If I make the equivalent circuit, it is the 50 volt, 1.5 microfarad, and it is the 3 microfarad, and it is the 6 microfarad. It is the V2, and across this it is a 3 microfarad, and this voltage is the V1. Now these two capacitors are in series and this one is the parallel. So what is the series? Series is C1 C2 upon C1 plus C2. So 3 and 1.5 in series. So 3 into 1.5 divided by 3 plus 1.5. So 3 into 1.5 divided by 4.5. So it is the 1 microfarad. 1 microfarad. This series combination is the 1 microfarad. 1 and 3 are in the parallel. So question remains like this. Question becomes 4 microfarad and it is the 6 microfarad. It is the 6 microfarad. And in parallel, 1 microfarad and 3 microfarad in parallel, so voltage remains same. The voltage across 3 microfarad and voltage across 4 microfarad is same because it is the series circuit. In the parallel, it will voltage remain same. So what is the V1? V1 is equal to total voltage into opposite branch C2, 6 upon 4 plus 6. So it is coming 5 6 are 30. So it is the 30 volt. V1 is equal to 30 volt. A is the correct answer. A answer is the correct because voltage across the capacitor is the opposite capacitor. It is the C2, and voltage across capacitor, or I make the circuit easily. I make the equivalent circuit here. It is the 50 volt. It is 1 microfarad. It is 3 microfarad. It is the 3 microfarad and it is 6 microfarad. So 1 and this voltage is V1 and this voltage is V2. So 3 microfarad and 1 microfarad in the parallel. So equivalent circuit is 50 volt, 3 and 1 microfarad in the parallel. So it is the 4 microfarad. But in the parallel voltage remains same. And it is the 6 microfarad. So what is the V1? V1, if you apply the voltage division rule, or you can calculate the charge. It is your choice. So if you apply the voltage division rule, 50 into 1 by 4, because voltage division is reciprocal of the voltage division in the resistance is directly proportional. Voltage division in the capacitor is inversely proportional. So it is 1 by C1. 1 by 4 upon 1 by 4 plus 1 by 6. If you calculate, it is coming 30 volt. It is coming 30. Praveen Pavan Chandra is saying, sir, can't we solve the problem without solving for capacitor? You want to solve this question without the capacitor? It is very difficult. If you don't solve this question, it will become difficult. So V1 is equal to 30 volt and V2 is coming 20 volt. So this voltage is the 30 volt and this voltage is the 20 volt. So A option is correct. A option is correct because V1, we are asking V1 first, V2 second. So in the competition, you should give the answer of V1 first, V2 second. Some students say, sir, B is also 2030, but we are asking the V1 first. So you have to give the answer of V1 first and later on V2. Yes, Deepa is giving the V1 30, V2 20. Very good, very good. So correct answer is the A option is the correct answer. Now coming to the next question. Give the answer of this question. Okay, Pavan Chandra is saying solving the question, first question before solving the capacitor. It becomes difficult. It is becoming difficult. Without solving for the capacitor, it will take the Shivans is asking, sir, when we will take screenshot. Okay, okay. So I think Shivans, you can take the screenshot in the recorded video. In the recorded video, you can take the screenshot because if you take the screenshot, it takes a lot of time. So I think you should take the screenshot after completion of the class. Yes, you should give the answer of this question. Dev is giving the answer of this question. Dev is giving the answer of this question. Very good, very good. Yashwant is giving the answer. Some are giving A, some are giving D. I think D is the correct answer. Yes, Om Tripathi has the suggestion. Let us take screenshot periodically after every half an hour. Okay, okay, okay. Yes, I am solving. Power dissipation in the resistance is I RMS square into R. Power dissipation in the resistance is I RMS square R. For the sawtooth wave, this is the sawtooth wave. For sawtooth wave, for sawtooth wave, IRMS, IRMS is I by root 3 or A by root 3. IRMS is equal to A by root 3. A is the peak value. So it is the 9 by root 3 or 3 root 3. You can learn for the sawtooth wave, otherwise I can derive. I can derive if A is the magnitude, RMS value is always A by root 3. So what is the power dissipation? Power dissipation is 3 root 3 whole square multiplied by 5. So 3 3 is 9, 9 3 is 27. 27 into 5 is 135. 135 can be the answer. Yes, yes. Shivans is asking about the solution about the line equation. Yes, I can solve this equation using the line equation. Very good. So I am solving this question as a generalized. I am taking this current as A. Okay, Shiv Shankar, then you can take the screenshot. You can take the screenshot of this because I am deriving this waveform RMS value. I am deriving this RMS value. You can take the screenshot. Sine wave RMS value is A by root 2. Rohiniya Devsam, RMS value of the sinusoidal wave is the amplitude divided by root 2. Yes, very good, very good. So I am now deriving generalized form. I am deriving in the generalized form if it is the A. If the magnitude is A and time period. Yes, I am deriving. It is the T. Time period. It is the 2T. RMS value does not depend on the time period. Whatever be the time period, RMS value remains same. So it is the T, it is the 2T, and it is the A. So what is the line equation? A line passing through the 0, 0 origin and slope is M. Y is equal to Mx is the line equation. If a straight line is passing through origin, straight line equation is equal to Y is equal to Mx. It is passing through 0, 0. X is equal to T axis, Y axis is equal to the IT axis. So I can put Y is equal to IT and X is equal to T. And what is the slope? Slope is equal to M is equal to tan theta. Tan theta is equal to perpendicular upon base. Perpendicular upon base is A by T. A by T, X is equal to T. So it is the straight line equation or current equation. It is the current equation. Now if I calculate the IRMS value, what is the IRMS? IRMS is 1 by T integral 0 to T IT square dt and take the under root. So if I put, I get the answer. 1 by T 0 to T. What is the IT? IT is equal to A upon capital T into small t whole square dt. So and under root. So what is the answer? A square by T square. It is become A by T cube. A square by T cube. And T square under root is the T cube by 3. And limit is from 0 to T. What I get? I get A square by T cube into T cube by 3. T cube cancelled out. So RMS value is under root A square by 3. Or you get A by root 3. RMS value is always positive. RMS value is always positive. And Shivans is asking, sir, why it is necessary to take the RMS value? Because I have already derived power in the resistance is proportional to I square R. Power in the resistance is directly proportional to I square. So we always take the square of the current. So we always take the square and then take the average. So we cannot take the average of the current. We always take the average of the square of the current. We always take the square of the average of the square of the current. That is why RMS value is important. Abhilasha Jadhav is asking, sir, can we derive the formula from the area? No. Because area under the curve will give you the value of the average value, not the RMS value. Because first we have to square. Before taking the average, first we have to square the current. So area under the curve is not valid here. If we take the average of the current only, then area of the under the curve valid. But we are taking the average of the square of the current. And square of the ramp is the parabola. You know very well, square of the ramp is the parabola. So you have to take the area under the curve of the parabola. You have to take the area of the under of curve the parabola. You cannot take the area under the curve of the ramp signal. Okay. Anusha is saying, sir, this waveform is the type of the DC only. Right, then why to take RMS? No, it is not DC. It is not. You can take the screenshot. Otherwise, I am giving this waveform is not the DC. The difference between the DC waveform and this waveform is DC waveform is the constant magnitude with respect to time. It is the DC waveform. But sawtooth wave is like this. Sawtooth wave is like this. It is not DC. It is changing. Its magnitude is always changing with respect to time. So you can't say it is a DC. It is a continuously changing its magnitude. So it cannot be DC. It is not DC. Not DC. Okay, okay. Now come to the next question. Yes, direction is the same. You can say direction is the same, but magnitude is not changing. In the DC, magnitude and direction both are same. For the DC, magnitude must also be same with respect to time. Magnitude and direction must be same for the DC value. Here direction is same, but magnitude is changing. Yes. Subham Dubey is saying sirf confusion between average and yes, Payal is asking very good question. Explain why we can't take the area under the curve. Yes, we cannot take the area under the curve because power is directly proportional to current square. So for power, we have to take the average value of the square of the current. We have to take average of I square R. Average of I square. We don't take the average of current. We have to take the average of I square. That is why we cannot take the area. This area give you the average of the current. This area give you the average of I. But we have to take average of I square because power is directly proportional to current square. So we have to take the average of I square. Yes, yes. Subham is asking average and RMS. Yes, average is only give the, yes, if you calculate the, yes, I am giving you explanation. No, 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 no. Basically, I am giving you what is the difference between average and RMS. In the case of, suppose that if I take the ramp wave, it is a ramp. It is a ramp. Suppose that it is A, it is 0, it is T, it is 2T, it is 3T, and so on. So if I take the average, if I take the average of IT, if I take only the average of this current, so you calculate area under the curve divided by width of the curve. So what is the area? Area is half into base into height, half into T into A divided by T. So you get half A. So average value of this current waveform is the half A. If you take the average value, you get the A by 2. A by 2 is the average value of this waveform. But if you take the RMS value, average of I square, if you take the average of I square, so you have to make the square of this waveform. You have to make the I square of this waveform. And you know, if you square the T, a straight line equation is directly proportional to T. Straight line equation is directly proportional to T because y is equal to mx. And if I make the square, so it is proportional to I square because IT is directly proportional to T. IT square is directly proportional to T square. And T square is the parabola. So it becomes the parabola. Now you have to take the area under the parabola. Because we have to take the average of I square. That is why in the RMS value, we are not giving for the parabola because we don't know the formula of the area under the curve of the parabola. We just simply calculate the area under the curve, curve under the curve of the parabola by integration. That is why I have used the integration because integration is the simplest method to give the area under the curve of the parabola. If I calculate the area under the parabola, I just integrate the signal. Yes, average is the linear relation. RMS is the square law. Very good, very good. Now come to the next question. Give me the answer of this question. This question is very, very interesting. Give me the answer of this question. Consider an inductor of 1 Henry. The value of the current at t is equal to 2.5. At this moment, if I giving the voltage, if I giving this kind of voltage to this inductor, what is the current at 2.5 second? What is the current at 2.5 second? Give me the answer. Ratha Roman, I think it is not correct. Yes, Ramya is giving the correct answer. Ramya answer is correct. Shivans, you should check your answer. Girish Reddy answer is correct. Deepa Vijay Lakshmi answer is correct. Yaswant answer is correct. Shubham Bhatt, Sakshi, Sonal, Pritam, you should check your answer. D is not the correct answer. D is not the correct answer. C is the correct answer. Om Tripathi, Sindhu, all are giving the C answer now. Yes, C is the correct answer. C answer is the correct answer. So we know VT. VT is equal to L di by dt. L di by dt. So what is the IT? IT is equal to minus infinity to t 1 by L v tau d tau. From 0 to 1. From 0 to 1, I am giving the 10 volt. From 0 to 1, I am giving the 10 volt. From 1 to 2, I am not giving any voltage. And from 2 to 3, I am giving the again 10 volt. So, and before t is equal to 0, there is no initial current inductor. Inductor does not have initial current before giving the voltage. So, if I integrate this 1 by L, or I am writing this equation directly because I have already explained. So, if I explain, it is the I0 minus plus 1 by L from 0 to 1 second. 0 to 1 second Vt. Vt is the 10 volt. 10 volt dt. So if I integrate, I0 is the 0, inductor value is 1 Henry, and if I integrate 10, so I get the 10. So it is the I at t is equal to 1 second. I have calculated I t is equal to 1 second. At t is equal to 1 second, I get the current 10 ampere. I get the current 10 ampere. Between 1 and 2, I am not applying the any voltage. Between 1 and 2, I am not applying any voltage. So what is the IT is equal to I1 plus, and T value is 1 to 2. T is equal to 1 to 2. So it is from 1 to 2. What is the voltage? V tau d tau. 1 by L. So I1 is the 10 ampere plus 1 by 1. From 1 to 2, I am not applying any voltage. So it is the 0 dt. If I integrate 0 from 1 to 2, I get the 0. So it is the 10 ampere. So I am calculating I current at t is equal to 2 ampere. So at 1 ampere and 2 ampere current remains same. Current remains same because I am not applying any voltage. I am not applying any voltage. But if I calculate the current at t is equal to 2.5 seconds. So what is the I2 current at 2 seconds plus 1 by L from t is equal to 2 to 2.5 V tau d tau. So what is the value? I2. I2 is the 10 ampere plus 1 by 1, 2 to 2.5. Vt is again 10 volt, 10 dt. If I integrate, what I get? Plus 10 is the t limit from 2 to 2.5. So what I get? I get 10 plus 10 into 2.5 minus 2. So 10 plus 10 into 0.5. So 10 plus 5 is equal to 15 ampere. So 15 ampere is the correct answer. Aditya Reddy is asking a very good question. Sir, why t is equal to 1 is taken? In question, they are only asked that t is equal to 2.5 seconds. Very good, very good. So, why we are not taking 2.5 directly? Because voltage is not the same for all the time. If voltage is same, Aditya, suppose that Aditya, if voltage is given like this, if we are applying the voltage like this, then we can directly integrate, because all the time voltage is the 10 volt, all the time voltage is the 10 volt, then you can integrate directly from 0 to 2.5 in the one go, and you get the answer 25 ampere. But the difference is, here we are voltage giving in the pulse. From 0 to 1 we are giving the voltage, from 1 to 2 we are not giving the voltage, and from 2 to 3 we are giving the voltage. So because we are giving the voltage in the pose manner, so we have to integrate from 0 to 1 first. 1 to 2 there is no increment of the current, because if we are not applying the voltage to the inductor current will not increase, and from 2 to 3 we are giving the again voltage. So what is the current profile? If I draw the current profile, what is the current profile? If I draw the current profile, what is the current? From 0 to 1, from 0 to 1 it is the 10 volt, from 1 to 2 there is no voltage, from 2 to 3, from 2 to 3 again 10 volt. So it is the voltage waveform. What is the current waveform? If I draw the current waveform, if I draw the current waveform, what is the inductor current? From 0 to 1 current will increase up to 10 ampere. From 1 to 2 current will not increase, because we are not applying the voltage, so current remains same. From 2 to 3 again current will increase from 10 to 20 ampere. From 3 to 4 we are not giving the voltage, so current remains same. Again from 3 to 4, 4 to 5 it is again increasing 20 to 30 ampere, like this. So it is the current. Red color is the current profile or current waveform, and blue color is the voltage waveform. Nandis is asking, why can't we take only from 2 to 2.5? Because yes, Sindhu is giving the correct answer. If we take the 2 to 2.5 directly, we don't know the initial current. For calculating the initial current, we have to take the first step. Because before the first step, you cannot calculate the I2. Because from 2 to 2.5 you must calculate the initial current at t is equal to 2. That is why we are first calculating the I2, then integrating from 2 to 2.5. Kishore is saying, sir, here average is used, not the RMS, because current voltage relation is the average relation, not the RMS. Power relation is the RMS, voltage relation is the average. Thanks, Aditya, thanks. Okay, okay. Now come to the next question. Okay, Nandis, okay. Give me the answer of this question. Give me the answer of this question. The source current is given. If the source current is given, what is the current through the capacitor? What is the current through the capacitor? This question is about the KVL and KCL equation. This question is about the KVL and KCL equation of the voltage and inductor and capacitor. If you know the KVL and KCL equation, you can solve this question very easily. Grease Reddy is giving the answer. I think it is correct. Grease Reddy is giving the answer. Sindhu is giving, Subham Bhatt, Jain is giving, very good. Gajendra Prajapati is giving the answer. Very good, very good. Deepa Vijay Lakshmi, Om Tripathi, Ram Prasad, all are giving the correct answer. Okay, okay, it is very easy. This question is very easy. Yes, Sandula Soumya is giving the correct answer. Okay, what is the, if current is given, what is the voltage across inductor? Because all the current flow in this inductor, all the supply current will flow in this inductor. So voltage across inductor is L dit by dt. And this current is flowing in the inductor, and this current is giving 4 sin 4t. So what is the L? L value is the 0.2 Henry. D by dt of it. What is the it? It is 4 sin 40. 4 into 2 is the 0.8, and sin 40 differentiation is 4 cos 40. 4 4 ja 16, 16 2 ja 32. So 3.2 cos 40. This is the VL. This is the voltage across inductor. Once you calculate the voltage across inductor, this dependent voltage source is 3 times VLT. It is a voltage dependent voltage source, and it is the 3 VLT. So 3 times VLT is 3.2 into 3. 3.2 into 3 is the 9.6 cos 40. And if you know the voltage, you can calculate the current. What is the current? Current is through the capacitor is IC is equal to C dVt by dt. What is the C? C value is 1.25 into d by dt of 9.6 cos 40. I is equal to C dV by dt. I is equal to C dV by dt. If you differentiate this, it is equal to C dV by dt, and if you integrate, you get the answer. C, sorry, it is the C. It is C. C is equal to 0.25. 0.25. 0.25. So what you get? It is the 1 by 4 into 9.6, and cos 4 to differentiation is minus 4 sin 40. So 4 4 cancelled out. So you get minus 9.6 sin 40. Minus 9.6 sin 40. D is the correct answer. D answer is the correct answer. Yes, yes, it is the 0.25. C value is the 0.25 or 1 by 4. Yes, thank you, sir. Deepa, thank you. Okay, okay. Now, next question. Give the answer of this question. A 20 microfarad capacitor has a voltage of 5 volt across it at t is equal to 0. If a constant current of 25 milliampere flows through the capacitor, then how long will it take for the capacitor to charge up to 200 microcoulomb? Yes, Ratha Roman is saying, sir, once again explain. This question is very easy. This current, this source current is going to the inductor. And if we know the inductor current, we can calculate the voltage using the Faraday law. V is equal to L di by dt. And current, this current is given 4 sin 40. So if 4 sin 40 is flowing in the inductor, L di by dt, you can calculate the voltage across inductor. And if voltage across inductor is VL, this is the dependent source. This is a voltage dependent voltage source, and this voltage source value is 3 VLT. If I put the VLT value as 3.2 cos 40, so 3 VLT becomes the 9.6 cos 40. And this whole value, this whole voltage will appear across the capacitor. And if we know the voltage across the capacitor, this whole voltage will appear across the capacitor because both are in parallel. And if voltage across capacitor is known, we can calculate the current through this relation. This is the KVL relation for inductor. This is the KCL relation for capacitor. And if I put the C value 0.25 farad, d by dt of voltage across capacitor is same as the voltage of this source. So you get the answer. I think, yes, yes. Ratha Roman is saying, okay, sir. Okay, okay. Give the answer of this question. Again, it is a very easy question. You should apply the KCL equation for the capacitor. Greece is giving the answer again. Yes, very good, very good. This question can be done in various ways. Yes, Bunty Gupta, Gajendra Prajapati, Sindhu C, Subham, all are giving the, Jain is giving the correct answer. D is the correct answer. Okay, I am solving. I am solving. This capacitor at t is equal to 0 having the 5 volt. It is already having at the 5 volt at t is equal to 0. At t is equal to 0, this capacitor have the 5 volt initially. So what is the initial charge? Initial charge is equal to CV0. So capacitor have initial charge 20 into 5 is equal to 100 microcoulomb. Capacitor have already 100 microcoulomb. So final charge, what is the final charge? Finally capacitor must have the charge. Final charge is 200 microcoulomb. So 200 microcoulomb is the final charge. So if 200 microcoulomb, 100 it is already. So how much charge we have to apply? We have to apply the charge is 100 microcoulomb. 100 microcoulomb should be the supply charge, because finally it must have the 200 microcoulomb and it is already charged up to the 100 microcoulomb. So additional 100 microcoulomb we have to provide, and Q is equal to IT, because current is the same. Q is equal to IT. Q is equal to IT. And since current is the constant, this is the one possibility. You can solve by many ways. Q is equal to I multiplied by T. So what is the T? T is equal to charge requirement, additional charge requirement divided by current we are applying. So additional charge required is the 100 microcoulomb, and we are providing the 25 milliampere current. 25 milliampere current. So if you divide, you get the 4 millisecond. In 4 millisecond, you can provide the 100 microcoulomb charge. So D is the correct answer. Or you can solve this question using the calculus method. You can solve this question into the calculus method, because I is equal to C dV by dt. So Vt is equal to, I have already told, V0 minus plus 1 upon C integral 0 to T V tau I tau d tau. I tau d tau. I tau d tau. I tau d tau. So if I multiplied by C, CVT is equal to CV0 minus plus integral 0 to T I tau d tau. So CVT is the QT. QT is equal to Q0 minus plus 0 to T I tau d tau. QT, charge requirement is the 200. Initial charge is the 100 microcoulomb plus 0 to T. We have to calculate the time. IT is the 25 milliampere d tau. If you integrate, you get the answer. 200 minus 100 is equal to 0 to T 25 dt. You must know the unit. This unit is the microcoulomb. This unit is the milliampere. So if you get 100 is equal to 25 into d tau integration is tau, limit is 0 to t. So it is the 4 is equal to t minus 0. So t is equal to 4. T is equal to 4. But if you divide microcoulomb divided by milliampere, you get the millisecond. Answer in the millisecond. It is the another way. This is the another way to calculate. So there are two methods. Either you can solve this method or you can solve by the integration. You can solve this question by the integration also. It is your choice. You can solve this method by any other method. Okay. Now come to the next question. Give the answer of this question. You have to apply the current division rule and voltage division rule. You have to apply the current division rule in the capacitor and voltage division rule in the inductor. To solve this question, you have to apply the current division rule in the capacitor and voltage division rule across the inductor. Give the answer of this question. Girish Reddy is giving the answer. Yes, Gajendra Prajapati, Yashwant, Ram Prasad, Om Tripathi, all are giving the correct answer. Subham Bhatt, Sindhu, Deepa Vijay Lakshmi, Vaishnavi, Bunty Gupta, Subham, all have given the correct answer. Subham Bhatt and Subham Bongal both have given the correct answer. Yes, Dinesh is giving B. I think B. Yes, Dinesh is giving A. A is the correct answer. Soumya is giving A. Preetham is giving A. A is the correct answer. Very good. A is the correct answer of this question. So what is the current division rule? Current division rule in the capacitor, I1T. I1T in the capacitor is total I multiplied by 1 by R1 divided by 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2. You know the current division rule in the resistance. In the same way, you apply the current division rule in the capacitor. 1 by R is replaced by C1. C1 upon C1 plus C2. Yes, C1 upon C1 plus C2. So what is the IT? IST is given 20 sin 2t. 20 sin 2t into C1. C1 capacitor value is the 2 farad. 2 upon 2 plus 1. So what is the value? 20 into 2 is the 40. 40 upon 3 sin 2t. It is the I1T. This is the current dependent voltage source. It is the 9 I1T. So what is the 9 I1T? 9 I1T is equal to 9 times of this. 3 3 is 9, so it becomes 120 sin 2t. And if it is the 120 sin 2t, you can apply the voltage division rule. What is the voltage division rule? Voltage division rule, VOT is equal to total voltage. Total voltage is the 120 sin 2t into concerned inductor divided by the total inductance value. 2 plus 1. 2 plus 1. 3. 3 4 ja 120 and 40 into 2 is the 80. So 80 sin 2t. Correct answer is the 80 sin 2t. 80 sin 2t is the correct answer. Once apply the current division rule at the input side and voltage division rule at the output side, you get the answer. Current division rule at the input side, voltage division rule at the output side. Nihar is asking, sir, these are the gate question. Yes, these are the basics of the inductor and capacitor. You can expect this question as a basics of the inductor and capacitor always in the gate. But exactly these are the gate question? No. I have not taken the gate question as such, but these are the pattern of the gate paper. Yes, yes. All the course option remain cancelled, so only sign option is there. Because there is no differentiation or no integration, only the division rule is followed, so only the sign prevails, because we are not integrating or differentiating in this question. Okay, okay. Now give me the answer this question. Give the answer of this question. It is the last question of the day. It is the last question of the day. Give the answer of this question. For this session, it is the last question. How many 6 microfarad 200 volt capacitors are needed to make a capacitor of 18 microfarad 600 volt? How many 6 microfarad 200 volt capacitors are needed to make 18 microfarad and 600 volt? Some students are giving C, some are giving B. Some are giving A also. So here diversity of the options are coming. Some are giving C, some are giving B, some are giving A. So one capacitor can handle the 200 volt. One capacitor can handle the 200 volt. So we have to make the 3 capacitor in series to handle the 600 volt. Because 200 volt one capacitor can handle in series, so we have to make 3 capacitor in the series. So it is the 6 microfarad, it is 6 microfarad, and it is 6 microfarad. So it is the 600 microfarad. But the demerit is, for making the series, total capacitance become 2 microfarad. 2 microfarad. So for making the 18 microfarad, as such 9 branches are in the parallel. You have to make the 9 branches in the parallel to make the capacitor as 18 microfarad, because resultant 3 capacitor in the series make the voltage 600. But the demerit for making the capacitor in series, the capacitance becomes the 2 microfarad. So as such 9 branches, these 9 branches will be connected in parallel, and each branch, these branches are the 9 branches, and each branch have the capacitor 3. So 9 into 3 is the 27. 27 capacitor you have to connect. 27 capacitor. Madhusri, Vaishnavi, Dinesh Patnaik, Jain, Bunty Gupta, Saurabh Chatterjee, Deepa Vijay Lakshmi, Om Tripathi, Amboj, Yashwant. Yes, they have given the correct answer. Yes, Saurabh Chatterjee is saying, sir, nice question. Thank you, Saurabh. Gajendra Prajapati is giving D, Subham Dubey is giving D, Sindhu is giving D. Yes, very good. Nihar is giving the D. Yes, very good. Yes, again I am explaining. One capacitor having the value, individual capacitor having the value 6 microfarad, and voltage, it can hold the voltage 200 volt. So suppose that if this capacitor which can hold 200 volt, if I give the 600 volt, it will puncture. If by mistake, if I apply to the 600 volt to the 200 volt capacitor, the dielectric will burst. So it will damage the capacitor, because this voltage is not compatible with the capacitor. So applied voltage is the 600, and we have the voltage capacitor of the 200 volt. So we have to make 3 capacitor in series. Because each capacitor take 200 volt. The second capacitor take 200 volt, third capacitor take 200 volt. So I can apply the 600 volt now. Why? because if I apply the 600 volt, 200, 200, 200 will distribute. So neither capacitor will burn or burst. So we can say, but the demerit of this 6 microfarad, if we connected in the series, we have the 2 microfarad. Because if 3 capacitors are in series formula is 1 upon C equivalent is 1 by C1 plus 1 by C2 plus 1 by C3. So I get the equivalent capacitance. Equivalent capacitance I get the 2 microfarad. But I have to add the capacity of 18 microfarad. So this 2 microfarad capacitor, if I connected these 2 microfarad capacitor, 9 2 microfarad capacitor in parallel, I get the 18 microfarad. Such 9 branches are in parallel, I get the 18 microfarad. So this if these 9 branches are there, if these 9 branches are in parallel, I get the 18 microfarad. And one branch, one capacitor is equal to the 3 capacitor. 3 capacitor, 1 2 microfarad capacitor is equivalent to 3 capacitor of 6 microfarad. So 3 9 27. One branch having the 3 capacitor, total 9 branch in parallel. So 3 into 9 is the 27. Yes, very good, very good. Preetham is asking why we take capacitor in series. Yes, because voltage will not stand and it will burst. Very good, very good. Yes, very good. Ambuj is giving the another option of solving this question. 18 microfarad and 600 volt. You calculate the energy of this capacitor and 6 microfarad 300 volt. You calculate the energy of 200 volt. And if you divide the energy, you get the answer. Okay. This is the another option. You calculate the energy stored by this capacitor and you calculate the energy stored by this capacitor. And if you divide E divided by E1, you get the number of capacitor. Yes, very good option. This is also very good option to solve this question. Okay, I am winding this session. Great, Ambuj, great. Yaswant is saying Ambuj is great. Very good, Ambuj. Very good, Ambuj. So next class is about the Thevenin theorem. And the session is today at 5 p.m. Today's session is at 5 p.m. and next class is about the Thevenin theorem. Thank you, dear. Thank you. Yes, so next class is about the Thevenin theorem and we discuss the Thevenin theorem with dependent source, and with independent source. Yes, dependent and independent source. So thank you Gajendra, thank you all. Prachi Verma, thank you Anup. Yes, thank you very much Ayush Gupta, Shiv Shankar, thank you. Bye Deepa. Sivansh is saying nice class, thank you. Payal is saying sir good explanation but go a little slow. Okay Payal. Thank you Saurabh Chatterjee, thank you Sindhu. Bye Nandish. Subham is saying nice class. Thank you Subham. Thank you very much. Thank you Ramya.